Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Living Beyond Limits. You all know I'm Reverend Jennifer Spear. We are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living. I welcome you this morning. I'm so glad you are here to spend your morning with us. And for those of you joining us online, welcome to our service also. And so let's start this service today by reading our mission statement that's on the front of the bulletin. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's really what we're doing here at Living Beyond Limits, is we are giving ourselves the opportunity to remember our own divine nature, to feel and sense and know that we are more than our personality, more than our ego, more than just this human being that's walking around, that at our core, at our essence, that we are spirit, of spirit, and that we are spiritual beings. And if we are of spirit, if we are incarnations of that infinite presence, that means that what is true of that presence is true of us as the microcosm of that macrocosm. So that means if God includes spirit, Yahweh, Buddha, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, life itself, the universe, if that contains intelligence, wisdom, peace, love, power, that means that we also already have that within us. Whether we access it or not comes out of our knowingness, our realization that it's already present. But when we know that love is core to our beingness, when we know that power is innate to who we are, when we know that peace is already within us, regardless of what's happening in the world, we come to the world differently. We come to the world with more generosity and more care. We're able to anchor ourselves in our own peace when the world is not being peaceful. We are able to bring love into a situation, a conversation, when love is not being reflected back to us. And when we are able to do that, we are then a healing presence in this world. Because we change the interactions, we change the relationships, and because everything is connected to everything else, it not just affects that moment, but it ripples out to affect the whole to some degree. And so I say thank you to each and every single one of you for answering this call of your own spirit to be walking this path, to be bringing your light and your consciousness into this world in a way that is beneficial to the whole. Thank you for that. Well, I have a question for you. Are you the same person that you were at 15? You have a little more wisdom than then. Are you the same person that you were at 27? A little more life experience. How about at 40? How about last year? You know, part of living this life as a human being is that we are continually stepping out of the lesser so that we can become our greater selves. That's continuous. But have you noticed that there are times when you still carry some old things that someone said about you, something that hurt your feelings or something that you felt was insulting, and you carry it for years sometimes? Or maybe even sometimes for decades. But if you think about it, are you the same person now that was even said about that long ago? Or are you different now? And how about, it's like it's written in cement somehow, we carry that with us. And how about, do you sometimes carry a judgment about yourself, maybe for something that you did or something that you said, something that hurt someone's feelings or something that wasn't very kind or just wasn't very thoughtful. And then you carry this judgment years down the road for what you did, even though you're not the same anymore. Or sometimes it's not even something that big. It's more like just a mistake that you made. And you're still holding yourself in that light of the person that made that mistake. And because you're still holding that, it creates some kind of an insecurity in you. And that insecurity then somehow just a little bit diminishes our self-esteem. But I have to ask you, whatever that thing is that you're still holding on to, did you learn from it? Would you do it again? Did it foster growth within you? You know, it's so silly because I hold on to some of those things, and one of those things that I hold on to is years ago, I painted my living room the most beautiful buttercup yellow. It was kind of a peachy yellow, and it was so pretty. Shelly's giving me the 2 thumbs up. And I had sage green carpeting and some wallpaper in my dining room, and it was so pretty, except at night. At night, that green carpet reflected onto those walls and made it the most ugly greenish yellow color you've ever seen. But there's still something in me today that doesn't trust myself a little bit and thinks I don't know how to pick out colors. Yet I've always really been good at color. And the thing is, I know now I paint a poster board with the color and put it on different walls at different times of the day so you can see what it looks like. I wouldn't make that mistake again. But I still carry that like that's who I am today. So the problem is that we identify with something that has happened. We forget that we aren't the same person, that we have actually grown and we have changed and we have evolved from that person, so we're different now than we were then. And yet, sometimes we still identify with the past or identify with those mistakes or who we were or our foibles from back then. But you know what? The bigger problem than that even is that we are identifying as this ego self, this person that makes mistakes. We're identifying with our personality and with this limitedness inside of us, and we're telling ourselves that is who we are. Ernest Holmes says, though, every time we claim something about ourselves that is different from that which we would claim about spirit, we are denying that presence within us and within our lives. And whatever it is that we are believing and holding on to becomes our operating system. That's what we operate out of. We are forgetting that we are more than our story. We are more than what has happened to us. We are more than this human being that has had the particular experiences that we've had in our lives. If we don't know who we are at our deepest level, that we are eternal beings, that we are an outpicturing of that creative intelligence of the universe, that we are expressions of that which is limitless, that we are expressions of wholeness itself, then we let the world define us. And the world gives us a false identity. It doesn't tell us who we really are. There's a story that says once a farmer found an abandoned eagle's nest, and within it, though, was one egg, and it was still warm. He took the egg back to his farm and laid it in the nest of one of his hens. The egg hatched, and the baby eagle grew up along with the other chickens. It pecked about the farmyard, scrabbling for grain. It spent its life in the yard and rarely looked up. When it was very old, one day it lifted its head up and saw above it a wonderful sight, an eagle soaring high above the sky. And looking at it, the old creature sighed and said to itself, "If I'd only been born an eagle." That's what we do. We hold on to what the world reflects to us and what our experience, and then we tell ourselves that's who we are instead of who we really are as incarnations of spirit. You know, a peach tree plus all the fruit that it will ever bear in its entire lifetime is contained within that seed. It already has everything within it that it needs to live its fullest life, to be all that it can be. We are the same as that. We already have that potential within us, and it's the potential of our spirit. And you know, all of those things that we go through in life, every single one of us actually gives us the opportunity to experience and express and bring forward something greater. Everything is calling for that. It is calling for us to give way to our own greater yet to be. Because that greater yet to be, like that seed, is already present within us. The truth is that our pure essence, who we are as spiritual beings, can never be damaged or destroyed or injured or diminished for any time on this eternal journey that we are walking. We are fully intact, absolutely whole, undamaged beings at our core. And so the title of my talk today is Whole in One, as in we are whole as we live in this one, and this one lives within us. We are whole at all times in all things because we are of spirit, because we are born of wholeness, the wholeness of spirit. We are the wholeness of spirit embodied and actualized, expressing itself as Rick and Barbara and Pat and Joy and Stacia. We are that here expressing itself. We are wholeness in form. And so the definition of wholeness is a thing that is complete in itself, intact, adequate, complete, sufficient, not flawed or missing anything. Jonathan Wells says, once established, beliefs are accepted as fact. So it takes knowing who we are at our core. It takes knowing it because that causes us to be different in the world. So he says, once established, beliefs are accepted as fact and are rarely subject to scrutiny. They become, quote, our personal operating system. Much like the operating system on your computer, our beliefs control how we sort and file every bit of input. Everything we see, experience, think, and feel fits our beliefs. In other words, our version of reality is created out of our beliefs. Our personal operating system disassembles and reassembles all data to conform with what it is we believe. If we have created an internal map where opportunity is everywhere, that is what we will see. When our map is based on opportunity, we won't view challenges as obstacles because they wouldn't harmonize with our map. So we interpret the facts in a way that allows them to fit in with and support our internal map of reality. So what if our map says that everyone is out to take advantage of us? Then we will experience events in our lives to fit our map. Perhaps we will take neutral experiences and put a negative spin on them. We may read negative messages into harmless conversation or unkind motives into a meaningless glance. If we are convinced, believe, on a subconscious level that people are out to get us, then we will find ample evidence in the world around us to confirm that belief. If we believe that we are whole and powerful and eternal and creative and filled with the intelligence of spirit, that is how we will act in the world. That is what we will attract to us as opportunities to be that. That's how it works. And so I'm talking today about when we recognize our wholeness, then we are actually empowered to make different choices in our lives and in the world than we would if we didn't know our wholeness was intact and present within us. You know, I think that we all know someone who has been in an abusive relationship, or at least in a relationship that was not serving them at all, and they don't leave it. They stay and they put up with stuff that maybe you or I would never put up with. It's born out of their beliefs, right? A belief that they don't deserve something else, a belief that nobody else is going to love them, a belief that they aren't worth it. Whatever that belief is, that is what is putting in glue and keeping in place that situation. I used to work with a girl who was the receptionist at the salon where I worked, and one day she has the want ads in the newspaper out, looking at them, looking for a new job where she can make some more money. She's looking at a job to be the hostess at Denny's. I don't even remember what the other jobs were, but I'm thinking, I would never apply for a job as a hostess at Denny's. She was looking for the same level of income job that she already had, clearly because she had some belief, whatever that belief was in her, that was going to fit with that. So it becomes our operating system, whatever the belief is that we are holding on to. Those are called self-imposed limitations. We create those limitations ourselves. But when we embody the truth that we are whole, that who we are at our essence can never be destroyed or damaged, that nothing can injure it, then it's easy to step out of our fears and our doubts and our insecurities because we know we're whole no matter what happens. We know we're powerful no matter what happens. We know that we are intact no matter what happens, and that gives us courage, and that gives us strength, and that gives us the motivation that we need to make better choices for ourselves in our own personal life, as well as what it is that we do out in the world. It gives us the courage and strength and confidence when we embody that belief. I know that every single one of us, we want to move through our lives with a sense of confidence. We want to be able to be grounded in ourselves when life is tumultuous around us. We want to be anchored in ourself, anchored in our own wholeness. And we want to be empowered to affect change, whether it's in our own lives or in the city we're living in or the state or the country. We want to be empowered to affect the change of things that are going on in our lives or in our world that don't align with our own deepest held values. Knowing who we are gives us the strength to do that. Identifying with that power within us, identifying with your unalterable wholeness, gives you and me the confidence to make changes that we need to make. Ernest Holmes said, "There is something within you beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feeling. That is the only something that can make you whole." That is the only something that can make you whole. So it takes reminding ourselves who we are. It takes reminding ourselves that we are more than our body, more than our personality, more than our feelings, more than our thoughts, more than our beliefs. We are more than our past experience. Instead, we are individualized expressions of the one and only presence and power. Individualized expressions of the ultimate essence of which everything has been created out of. That one, the ultimate essence that we are made out of, the very nature of that one is wholeness and power and intelligence and love and peace. When we are holding beliefs that are founded in the idea that we are whole, or that we have boundless resources because we are sourced by the infinite, that our divine nature is indestructible, then we are empowered to create heaven on earth. And so I'd love to lead you in a meditation so that we can move out of having this idea in our heads of oneness and our own wholeness to actually have the experience of being in that, So I invite you just to close your eyes and to become still. And to become aware of that place deep within you where there is perfect stillness. The stillness that is at the very depth of your being. Here within lies the part of you that is beyond personality, beyond ego, beyond receiving its identity from the outside world. As we let go of this outer identification, we find the ever-present, pure, unhindered, limitless self. When we let go of the outer identification, we are aware of the purity of spirit, the boundlessness, the unhindered essence, an expansion. That which is pregnant with possibility. Love and light and the truth of the divine. That this is the essence of our own spirit. When we let go of our ego identification, we move beyond ideas of not being enough. We move beyond feelings of limitation and doubt. We no longer identify with past wounds. We identify instead with the spirit of our own being. As limitations of the ego dissolve, we step into our inherent wholeness. Here within lies the wholeness of God. Here within lies infinite potentiality. Here within is all power, the love, the compassion, the creativity that we will ever need. Right here. It is from this inner wholeness that we can change the world. From this inner wholeness, we have much to give. In this inner communion, we are in alignment with the living Spirit's vision for our lives and for the world. In this silence, the Divine One speaks to our hearts. You are the light of the world. You are the love, the wholeness of spirit in manifest form. You lack for nothing for the allness of spirit is right here within. Closer than breath and nearer than hands and feet lies the infinity of the one. As we enter the silence for a moment, just simply rest in wholeness, the wholeness of your being. And so I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to your body, feeling yourself sitting on the chair and feeling your feet on the floor. And when you're ready to open your eyes, you notice in there's no story about who you are and nothing limited in there. And so my invitation to you this week is to affirm your wholeness, to remind yourself of who you are, an individuation of that infinite one, here on earth expressing as you. To remind yourself that who you are is also the very essence of love and peace and power and wholeness and goodness. And to regularly take time to get out of your monkey mind, to get out of the news and the chaos and everything that's happening in the world, and to reconnect with your innermost being. The part that Ernest Holmes tells us is the only thing that will make you whole. That in here, your own divine essence. And as a result, you will be so much more empowered to create your best life, to be stepping beyond whatever self-imposed limitations you have created for yourself, and to be free to live as your most authentic and fullest self while you are living this life. So blessings to every single one of you on this path of remembering, this path of awakening, this path of bringing your spirit to this world in a way that is magnificent and beautiful for everyone. Thank you for that. Blessings to you. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer as we take our attention and we turn it towards the capital T truth. That truth that is eternal and unchanging, which is that there is an omnipresence of spirit. That infinite presence of love and light and goodness and wholeness and power and intelligence is everywhere present. That one infinite presence expresses itself in and through and as everything that we see. In every tree, in every animal, in every river, in every person, in everything lives this creative principle. This creative principle called life, called spirit, called whatever name you give to it. Universal life force, the one and only, beginningless, endless, the center and the circumference of all, is this one. And so today we walk in an awareness that we live in this presence, and that presence expresses itself in us. That we can never be separate or apart from it for a moment in all of eternity. For we are it in human form here. And so today we open ourselves knowing that as we do so, the intelligence of the cosmos guides us and leads us into our best life. The abundance of life pours itself out as a blessing and fills our lives with all the things that make our heart the happiest. Recognizing that the wholeness and the intelligence of spirit expresses itself in our bodies as that which heals, that which restores, that which brings balance and homeostasis. So we lean into that, and as we lean in and as we open ourselves to that, we allow it to express itself in a fuller way within us and through us and around us. And so I know that not is this only the truth about us, but this is the truth about every single person on this planet. That right where they are is love. Right where they are is their own wholeness. Right where they are is peace and goodness. And that right now is stirring within them as we recognize it. That there is something stirring and awakening within them that enables them to make higher choices, choices that serve spirit as humanity. That love is moving them, intelligence is moving them, goodness is filling them to a greater degree than it ever has before. And so it is with a heart filled with gratitude that I release this prayer into that creative law that always reflects back as the believer has put into it, just like a mirror. We release this and it is reflected back to us, and in gratitude I say thank you, and so it is. And so I do have a few invitations for you as a way to participate in this family. One is the last Sunday of this month, which is just a couple of weeks away, we are going to be having an in-reach outreach. What we're going to be doing is getting together at Straw Hat Pizza on Spring Street. We can give you the address, and we're going to be making paper flowers and cards that are going to be going to the Women at Long Beach Women's Shelter for Mother's Day. So we're not having service. It's a fifth Sunday. We do an in-reach or an outreach that day. So we're meeting there at 11 o'clock because that's what time they open, and make those crafts together and have lunch together. So I invite you to show up, and it is also it's not booked as a fundraiser, but they are going to be giving us a portion back of whatever it is that we eat for lunch. So it'll be a mini fundraiser that goes along with that. I am excited to let you know that I am going to be putting on our first ever 2-day retreat in Big Bear Mountains this summer, July 19th. I sent out an email. If you didn't get it, check your email this week to give you details about the pricing and stuff. We have a sign-up sheet in the back. If you are interested, I'd like you to sign up. If you got the email and you decided that wasn't going to work because of some of the details, I invite you to cross your name off of the sign-up sheet that's in the back, but we would love to have you. There is room for 18 people. It will be lots of spiritual practice and doing some craft something, I'm sure, and sitting by the fire pit outside at night, and I think we're going to maybe go out on a boat, but lots of time for quiet and to be together and to do, coming from our spirit and to be doing spiritually focused kind of things. We'd love to have you. Pat and Mike are working with the unhoused in Long Beach. If you would like to join them, they'd be happy to have you be a part of that. Our Sunday talks come out on Monday night or Tuesday morning. They are posted on our website and on Facebook, and I've been sending out an email with that link. I invite you to share those with any of your friends that you think might be interested in what it is that we are talking about here. I invite you to check in on Meetup and say that you're coming, so it doesn't look like there's only 4 of us showing up in the room. To follow us on Facebook, to follow us on Instagram, and just to let you know that we have prayer support. If you'd like prayer, the practitioners are happy to pray with you, and we have prayer shawls that you're invited to take with you if you'd like to. That's it for my announcements. Repeat after me. Good fills my life now. I recognize it. I savor it. I celebrate it. I own it. And so it is.